your picks, give me your insights. I want the bets from Betting Weekly. Because we win, that is our motto. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. Don't give us the burn, don't give us your stink eye. We try our best, and we're successful. Come watch our show, Bet River sponsors. It's time to start, enjoy the show.
All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live. Here with you on a Tuesday. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian as we get you ready for all of tonight's action and action over the next couple of days, because we're not going to be here with you tomorrow, Christmas Eve, or Thursday, Christmas Day. We will be back Friday. Don't forget that at 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific, as always. But we have tons of action tonight, just a full slate of NBA and NHL. We've got bowl games. We have all the Christmas Day NFL we have to get to and NBA. So a lot to do, Doug. Let's get right to it. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. I feel less festive than you with the Santa hat. So I don't know if you're in the holiday spirit or maybe the polar opposite with the like the dead guy in Die Hard in the elevator with the ho 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 with the Santa hat on.
Yeah, I figured, you know what, last show before the holiday, I might as well throw the Santa hat on and get out there and just try to be as festive as possible, Doug. And I was in a good mood because after the Niners put the smash job on the Colts last night in the second half and pulled away, that made me very happy too. So all in all, very festive as we get ready for tonight. And I'm excited about all the action that we do have. So why don't we get right to it, because it's a thick card for us on Betting Weekly Live. And we'll start with the NBA. 14 games tonight. Let's go, including the NBC/Peacock doubleheader starting at 8 o'clock East in Dallas between the Nuggets and the Mavs. We will begin there, where tonight the Mavericks, of course, at home, getting 6.5 from the Nuggets. 237.5 is the total at Bet Rivers right now.
I went back and forth on this game. It's a little tricky. Both teams played yesterday, but the Nuggets essentially had a scrimmage. Opened up, I believe, 19-0 in their game, and then cruise from there. So I think they're going to be fresh. The question is, any sort of like almost like tryptophan from just a cruise victory yesterday. Mavericks blew a fourth quarter lead. I believe it was double digits in New Orleans against my Pelicans. So the Mavs should have a little bit more bounce in their step, but I also don't think much of this New Orleans team, and I think a whole lot of this Denver squad. 6.5 is enough for me to get involved. I think the Mavericks have been in a bit of a disarray this entire season. Obviously started slow with Cooper Flagg getting point guard duties, then Nico gets fired. I just think they're kind of a hot mess. I'll take Denver.
It actually seems like almost kind of light to me, honestly, with how bad Dallas has played. Like, I feel like it should be a little bit more than 6.5 for tonight. So I'm with you. It's Denver for me in Dallas against the Mavs. We do have a special for you in this game as well, with this being a featured game on NBC or Peacock, depending on where you are. Murray Christmas, Jamal Murray, to make 2+ 3-pointers in the first half of Nuggets versus Mavs. This is boosted from plus 105 to plus 125. 2 3 balls from Murray Christmas in the first half, Doug. Can we get you there?
Not. Let's do it. Let's roll. I think Murray's really having a strong season here. And, you know, the Nuggets are not going to go anywhere if it's just Jokic leading the way. Murray needs to be great. He's never been an all-star. In fact, Jokic has never played with an all-star, mostly because Murray's been hurt a few times here and there. I think this is Murray's sort of shining season, if you will.
Right.
And he's got great range. If he's open at all, I feel like it's automatic. So, yeah, I like that boost.
Let's go. I'm in a little Murray Christmas tonight at Bet Rivers. Make sure you check the specials there and get involved. The second game of the NBC/Peacock doubleheader just after 10:30 East, the Rockets and the Clippers in Los Angeles. Rockets -8 at the Intuit, 220 flat the total.
This is tricky. Rockets laid a giant egg in their last game, and Ime Udoka called them out, saying they got to be more prepared. for their lesser opponents. Now, they started out, I think, down 9-2 in Sacto, then bounced back, took a lead, led comfortably at at halftime, but then just completely unraveled down the stretch, and they lost in overtime, I believe, in Sacto. So they've lost 3 of 4. Really unacceptable. I want to jump on the Rockets' first quarter here. My only apprehension is, and let me get my notes here, Houston Clippers currently on a 9-1-1 straight up run in the first quarter, also 10-1 ATS. So that gives me pause. But we've talked about it. They've been a terrible home team. And some of that is, Clippers' recent successes on the road or playing the Lakers the other night. So I am going to dip my toe into the Rockets starting strong, Udoka rattling cages because, frankly, he scares me. So I'm sure he scares some of his players. I think the Rockets will be all business tonight. I like them here, but I don't want to lay 8. Clippers, for some reason, might be getting their act together a little bit.
A little bit. Hopefully getting their act together out there anyway. Awful start to the year for the Clippers. They got to turn it around at some point. Elsewhere tonight, like we said, 14 games in the NBA, so a lot more besides these NBC Peacock games. Let's go to Cleveland next, where the Cavs last night took care of business at home against the Hornets, although the Hornets a little late rally to cover that game, right? That was 9.5. My Hornets with the late rally to cover that game. The Pelicans with the win, as you mentioned, at home against Dallas. They go to Cleveland. Cavs minus 8.5, 247.5 the total.
Only team worse against the spread than the Clippers, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just 8-22 ATS. Give me the Pelicans all day on this one. Now, it is a tough spot back-to-back. They had a nice fourth quarter surge, like I mentioned, to rally to beat Dallas. But I just think they're really in a groove right now. Since firing Willie Green and James Borrego took over, how about this? 14-4 ATS. And they've had some of those have been outright wins in the dog roll. This will be a little tricky, but remember, Cleveland's against New York at Madison Square Garden on Christmas Day. They have the big win yesterday against the Hornets, who were frisky and lighting it up. So this is a nice little sandwich spot. There's no way I can lay it with the Cavs. Give me the Cans plus the 8.5.
Yeah, and not only that great ATS record, I mean, they've won 5 in a row straight. They've just been winning games here recently.
Playoff run?
Hey, from, I guess, if they've won 5 in a row, so that means they were 3-22, the Pelicans. If they've now climbed themselves to 8-22 with this little 5-game winning streak that they have put together.
No
here.
Herb Jones tonight. That should be mentioned for sure.
That should be mentioned. That, of course, very important. All right, this next one. Thunder are in San Antonio against the Spurs. Now you're probably saying, oh, wait, with Thunder. Yeah, they're playing Christmas Day also in OKC. So this is the first leg of a home and home. Thunder -7 here on the road. 233.5 is the total. Thunder did play last night at home and beat the Grizzlies and just got by with 16-point win for them. This kind of takes a little luster off. We were hoping this big revenge spot, of course, from Vegas with the NBA Cup for Christmas Day, but now they're going to play tonight, Doug.
Really strange that the NBA did this, just given how they protect Christmas Day so much and want a spotlight. Now, I'm not sure that they knew these two teams would have such a high-profile matchup in the NBA Cup, and there'd be a revenge angle, and the Thunder would start out 23-1 or whatever it was. It's a big number for them to be laying. I just don't know what I'm getting out of Wemby. I mean, is he still coming off the bench? Things like that. But given the Thunder are so good when motivated, I mean, that's the number one thing in sports betting in general. Focused favorites. If you can get that, whether it's a bowl game, whatnot. So we have that with OKC. I think first quarter is the play. Obviously, if Wemby's a second quarter guy, that's even better. So I'll lay the 1.5 on the road with the Thunder just because they've been so strong. And frankly, they were a little bit on cruise control yesterday.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the Christmas Day game in a moment, too. Of course, they'll flip venues and go to OKC for that as part of the 5 games coming up on Thursday. Elsewhere tonight, how about, let's go next, we got so many. My Hornets, Doug. Let's go to my Hornets. We're playing on a back-to-back. They are at home for the Wiz tonight. Hornets -6.5, 238.5 the total.
We touched on this at the beginning of the season, the Hornets defense and their scoring first quarter overs How about these stats? And that's why we're going to go first quarter over, because the Wiz will get up and down. Charlotte has gone over 21 of 28 games in the first quarter. At home, 12 of 14. So they come out guns blazing and their defense is non-existent. I'll roll with that. Now, it's a big number. It's 61.5. But certainly these teams can get up and down. The three-point shooting's fantastic. Hornets are playing, this lineup now that they have Bridges healthy, Brandon Miller healthy, LaMelo healthy, along with Kneppel. They're pretty stacked with shooting. They move the ball a little too much. I feel like the defense stinks. I was watching the game last night against the Cavs. I was playing some in-game, but that's what we want tonight. So Hornets, maybe split it up with Hornets over 61.5, but also maybe their team total first quarter over as well.
Up, 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 and away. And of course, you can join the conversation here in the chat box. The Amish electrician is in. Yes, little Mikey Claus tonight. I saw the Crooked Chef is involved. Doug is locked in. He's got to be locked in. I mean, come on. We got 14 games in the NBA tonight. I mean, every day Doug is locked in. We might even going to have a little Dougie Pucks later with all the NHL games that we are going to have for us. All right, next on our NBA night. Knicks are in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. So, of course, the Knicks, both of these teams are going to be playing on Thursday on Christmas Day. T-Wolves minus 7.5 at home. 229.5 is the total. So
this is an old adage I've sort of want to apply in the NBA that I've done for a little bit. And it's really sort of tricky because it's gut feel in this. But when a team starts out poorly and then comes back to win, don't you think they have zero motivation to change anything they did the previous game? Right. Like the last time, the other first quarter, like we like OKC and revenge. So the Timberwolves started out horrible in their last game yesterday against the Bucks and came back to win. Maybe it was Sunday. I can't remember. All these days are blurring together. I don't even know what holiday, when the holiday is. So it's kind of like back in the days in school, right? When you didn't study for an exam and you went in and you actually did well, there's no chance you're going to actually study the next exam, right? So that's where I think the T-Wolves are with these sluggish starts. So they got away with it in the last game. So I think we see a very, very casual start, even with a good opponent in town. I think the Knicks and the starting lineup for the Knicks is really strong in my eyes. So I think they take it to the T-Wolves.
Now, I will give you a little bit of an injury report situation with the Knicks here tonight. Now, I don't know if it's going to change much because I'm going to give you a reason why I think it might still be good. No Brunson tonight. Right. That might change your mind. No OG Anunoby tonight. So those are two big pieces that they're not going to have. But I think that the one thing that you do have
actually better for the first quarter, I think we're good.
Well, also because, Cat now gets to kind of be a little bit of a pig tonight with all these guys out of the lineup back in Minnesota where he was obviously there forever. And if I remember correctly, I don't think Cat played in the game in Minnesota last year. I think he was out when the Knicks were there against the T-Wolves. So this might be I'd have to double check that. Might be his first time back. But Cat,
ring the bell.
Cat will be up for a game in Minnesota against the T-Wolves.
With those other guys out, I think that's actually going to lull T-Wolves to sleep even more. And the guy who I think is going to take advantage is Tyler Kolek.
Yeah.
I think he goes off. He's been great, including the Cup, and he was so key in that win over the Pacers last week. I think Kolek's a banger, over 12.5 or 13.5 points. It's a little tricky because the T-Wolves play defense, and that was my concern yesterday with my best bet with Cam Spencer, and I lost by a hook, although he went over his points plus assists, so he was definitely engaged. It's just that the Thunder defense was that strong. But the T-Wolves, I think, will be sort of unprofessional in this way, that the fact they'll be lulled to sleep with no Brunson and OG. OG is so valuable, man. He's great in so many ways. I don't think the betting market really appreciates him fully. So I like Kolek over his points. I'm actually, in the back of my head, Kolek's points prop making a late surge, Carver, for best bet.
I was actually going to ask you about his assists too, since he's going to get a little bit. I mean, his assists are 6.5 for tonight, minus 129 to the over. But he's played really well when he's been out there the last few games, and it seems like he could get more burned tonight. And that could be a good spot for him with the points or the assists, I think, for Tyler Kolek tonight in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. All right, a few others quickly. I'll try to get a few in. And how about, I'm sorry, when I see a number like this, Doug, I have to bring it to everybody's attention. And they just played a game where I believe you told me yesterday, they scored 300 points on Sunday. The Bulls and the Hawks are in Atlanta. It's Hawks -4, but the real number is 254 and a half. Now, that's a big total, Doug. I don't care that they scored 300 points the other day. Are we going to smash through this again?
It's the last time they played, right? I mean, that's the last game that the Bulls played. How do we not?
Right? I love overs, Doug. You could be able to talk me into it. I love rooting this in.
They played in October, third game of the season, 251. It was a low-scoring first half. Then the second half delivered 136. So I think over is a play.
Let's get it. Like I just
Bulls especially, man. This Bulls team sort of righted the ship. They've won 3 straight. They beat the Cavs back to back. Now that they're full strength, that's that way you don't have to play Patrick Williams that much. You get full Kobe White's fully recovered, and then Vucevic and Basellas, Herter Key off the bench, bombing threes, and that second unit of DeSomo and Trey Jones. Bulls team total.
Bulls team total. There you go. Fire it up. Next, this one caught my eye too. Raptors were in Miami against the Heat and beat them there about a week and a half ago. I think it was last Monday, 2 Mondays ago. Now they go back to Miami tonight. They're getting 5.5, 228.5. The total. Raptors maybe again in Miami, or a little revenge for the Heat.
Raptors dropped an egg, the other day against the Celtics. I thought they'd catch them on the back-to-back. I don't believe in this Miami team. I've been pretty, down on them, fading them. They've lost, 7 of 8. They only beat Brooklyn. I want no part of this Heat team. Hero's been in and out. Like, I just feel I was talking to a pretty sharp bettor the other day on Sunday, and I mentioned the Heat to him, and he mentioned a comment by one of the players, and I haven't checked it, but basically one of them said, like, yeah, teams have figured this out. And so this Miami sort of voodoo, remember, they're the highest scoring first quarter team, just come at you and blast you, and they're a great first quarter over. But now teams have sort of figured it out. I also think Hero's really disrupted things because he calls for the high ball screen, much more of a traditional half-court set involving an all-star. But that's not the offense they were running until Hero came back, right? Hero missed the first month or so of the season, and they were just blasting teams with a pace and space offense, and that's disrupted them. Bam's been okay, a little herky-jerky. Hawkes has been awesome off the bench, but I don't know, man. I would grab the points here, but the revenge angle is always typically strong in the NBA, so that's why I'm laying off.
No Luka for the Lakers tonight in Phoenix against the Suns, and they're getting 4.5, 228.5 the total. Of course, the Lakers are playing Christmas Day also against the Rockets.
And the key is Austin Reeves is back. Okay, yeah. So he's missed 2 weeks. He's back. Luka's out. And this is the game where, these two teams just played each other, right? There was like a technical foul on Dylan Brooks, and then LeBron missed the free throw, and then he got fouled on a 3, made 2 of 3. It was a wild game where the Lakers were up 18. I think they went on a 24-zip run in the second half a couple Sundays ago. That was days after the Suns embarrassed the Lakers in L.A., where LeBron was checked out and J.J. Redick was calling timeout to yell at him. So there's intensity between these two teams, predominantly Dylan Brooks and LeBron. To be honest, I like the Suns a little bit. So much runs through Luka, and when they don't, they run drop coverage on the high ball screen, and that forces a guy like Marcus Smart to make threes. Now, there's no Rui Hachimura in this game, so that's going to be an interesting sort of domino effect. But I think, obviously, J.J. Redick knows what he's doing, but so does the Suns bench. I think it's going to be a lot of cat and mouse here trying to make Austin Reeves beat you, but anytime Luka's out, I immediately go to Austin Reeves overs. Remember, he had that run of 40 points here and there. It's really hard not to get involved with Austin Reeves. So over 24.5 is a really strong play for me with Austin Reeves.
There you go. Lakers and Suns tonight. There is other games, of course. Nets are in Philly against the Sixers. Sixers -9.5. You've got the Bucks and the Pacers tonight. Bucks a very short road favorite. We got Grizzlies and Jazz tonight. Both of those teams played last night and lost. Both got whacked, actually. So the Grizzlies -4.5 on the road in Utah. Pistons and Kings tonight. Magic and Blazers. So a huge slate of 14 games this evening. And don't forget, you can also get at Bet Rivers for any of these games. NBA Midweek Live Profit Boost. Players who log on to Bet Rivers and will receive a NBA Live Profit Boost each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. See the Bet Rivers app or the website for full details. 14 games to use that with here on a Tuesday night. All right, Doug, Christmas Day in the NBA before we move on. 5 games starting at noon. Cavs, Knicks. We'll go through these quick. Knicks -5.5, 237.5, the total in the noon East tip.
Knicks all day. Cavs just shaky. Knicks, I'm assuming Brunson's back. I'm assuming OG's back. I want no part of Cleveland. I read something that like the Cavs could move on from Kenny Atkinson. I mean, wasn't he coach of the year last year and they went the one? It's just ludicrous.
60 games. Like what are we doing sometimes? It's just
coach of the year is the is sort of the the kryptonite of a lot of coaching. They get fired within 3 years.
The Amish electrician. Help us, OG Ananobi. You're our only hope. And
really
maybe we'll see if OG's back out there as well on Thursday for the Knicks. Game number 2 is the Spurs and the Thunder. As we just said, loses a little luster. And I do think about it this way, Doug. You're right. I don't think when the NBA put this together, they didn't exactly know that they were going to play in a high-profile NBA Cup semi, of course, a few weeks earlier. But Thunder -11, 234.5 for that one.
So I would take the Spurs here. That's just too many points. Yeah. But I might do the martingale. If the Thunder don't cover first quarter tonight, I'll run it back on Christmas Day. But this is a tough handicap. I mean, the Thunder are really a tough handicap across the board. Remember, they've only been at full strength with J. Will coming back or J. Dub. I get them all mixed up.
Yeah.
The Santa Clara Jalen Williams. It's 11's a lot.
That's a lot of
Spurs are legit. They play hard. Obviously, Wemby's a freak and awesome. I'd have to play the Spurs if anything.
The Mavs are in Golden State against the Warriors, who I guess it's good they have the night off tonight after all their problems last night. Of course, you get them all yelling at each other. Draymond going to the locker room afterward. They did win the game. They're laying 7.5 against Dallas. I don't know if I want any part of that.
No, I would take the Mavs here. Now, the Warriors had a ridiculous run in the second half. Orlando, I thought, was going to win the game outright. Then they got blown out. I think it was a 26-8 run or something along those lines. Golden State's been shaky. Obviously, Steph Curry's fantastic. But I think the Mavericks have enough sort of to length to throw at them. I mean, like you said, the Steve Kerr, Draymond Green thing's nonsense. But Steve Kerr is such a, veteran with handling this kind of stuff that he took it in stride. No big deal. So I would lean to the dog here. That's just too many points for a team that, conceivably could win.
It's honestly light on the Draymond Green scale of things that he's done wrong and Steve Kerr had to fix. So, I
saw a quote saying if it was anybody but else, we could all be talking about it. But it's Draymond. It's like,
Draymond. He's done worse things. So, it just seems like nothing.
Did he punch him? No? Okay, let's move on.
Rockets and Lakers is the 4th game, the 8 o'clock East tip. And Rockets -4.5, 228.5 in that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lakers are pretty impressive at times, right? They have Luka with Reeves and LeBron. It's pretty potent. They play defense, all things considered. But this Rockets team is really good. I've been pretty impressed. I didn't know what the double Twin Towers would, operate. Durant's picked his spots. I think guys like Reed Shepherd have been really impressive. So is Thompson. Rockets 4.5 on the road, but I don't know. Udoka and LeBron might get in a fight one of these days too. Udoka just talk smack to him, so that's enjoyable. Probably an over. I mean, the Lakers are, I think, the most overs in the NBA this year. Yeah. Rockets will get up and down. I like the over.
Over, up and away. And the late night bailout blowout, 10:30 East, Christmas night. Kids are finally in bed. Family, get them out of the house. You can finally sit on the couch with a nice glass or whatever and watch the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Nuggets -4.5, 237.5.
I think the T-Wolves are kind of a phony. Now, they are structured to beat the Nuggets, right? Their GM's the former Denver GM or former front office member. So they have the capabilities, but I think the Nuggets, this number is light. I'd make it 6.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially at home. And the Timberwolves, as you were kind of talking about in this, like with this game tonight, like they're lazy sometimes. There's so many nights where the Timberwolves are lazy. And I know it's a Christmas Day, marquee game, but it's also like the late night one, which I don't know how gassed up they're going to be for that. So there you go. 5 games on Christmas Day for the NBA. Get excited for you. Bet Rivers has you going. How about this? If you have your eyes on a little plus money bet at Bet Rivers, Betting Weekly is giving you a little pizza money to lock it in. Of course, you got to use the pizza money bonus code Betting Weekly 1218 to get a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money bet at Bet Rivers. That is Betting Weekly 1218, Betting Weekly 1218. You have until January 11th to redeem the code at any U.S. Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Good for one bet for eligible players only. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So once again, the pizza money bonus code, Betting Weekly 1218. All right, hockey. 12 games tonight in the NHL before, as a buddy of mine said to me earlier today, Doug, the NHL puts the white flag up for 3 days and lets everyone else play as they take off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They won't play again until Saturday after tonight. So pretty much tons of teams in action. And they've already started because TNT has a triple header tonight. And the Maple Leafs already lead the Penguins 1-0 just about 9 minutes into the game. So 1-0 Leafs.
NHL has their priorities straight. Forget ratings. Yeah. We have family over the holiday.
We have family, and that is what they are going to prioritize. So good for them. The Leafs are up 1-0 as they just got started. Elsewhere, second game of that TV doubleheader is just after 6:30 East in Detroit for the Red Wings and the Stars. Good one here, and you're getting the Stars at minus $1.34. Really like them tonight, Doug. They've won 4 in a row. They're, I think, 12-3-1 on the road this year. They're one of the 2 best teams in hockey. I know the Red Wings have had a good start to the year, but this is Dallas for me tonight in Detroit.
I got no opinion. The only one of my hockey people gave me was the Senators-Sabres over.
Well, I was kind of sniffing around that. Both those teams are playing well. Sabres have won 6 in a row. Senators have won 4 in a row. But you look at some of the scores for both of this. I kind of like that. This over 6 for the Sabres and the Senators tonight. I didn't have it written down there because from early this morning when I was still going through stuff. But that over sounds good in Ottawa this evening between Buffalo and the Sens. A couple others for you. First of all, the last game of that triple header I mentioned is Philly and Chicago, which no thanks, Doug. Not for me. Now, Blackhawks early in the year without Bedard, I can't do it. Philly is on the second night of a back-to-back, but I can't play the Blackhawks. Not without Bedard. I'm just not there for it. Elsewhere, give me a couple that I do like. Montreal and Boston tonight. Now, the Bruins, we've talked about a lot. They've had a lot of hot streaks and a lot of bad streaks. They are win 5, lose 5. Win 4, lose 4. We caught them on one of their hot streaks last week and a half. But they've gotten back into one of their lulls here, Doug. They've lost 3 in a row. They have Montreal coming in, obviously a big rivalry. I'm going to take a little plus money with the Canadiens tonight. Plus 105 in Boston against the Bruins. Just playing that the Bruins, when they're going bad, you go after them. When they're going good, you get on them.
How do you know when it starts and stops?
Well, that's, we've hit 3 now. So that's, but it
got
seems
house money
like,
on this.
It seems like the strings go 5-6 games for them. They'll go 5 or 6 really good games, 5 or 6 really bad games. Bruins have been very up and down with that. So I'm going to go with Montreal tonight in Boston against the Bruins. I like the Wild in a bounce back spot. Remember, they had won 5 in a row. They got pounded by Colorado on Sunday when the Avalanche came to town. Now they get the lowly Preds in. It hasn't been as lowly the last few weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're showing some life.
They've been showing a little bit of life, but this is a nice jump back. Couple days off after getting throttled by the Avalanche. I like the Wild puck line, plus 138, minus a goal and a half against the Preds. Big effort at home from Minnesota tonight for me.
Who's the team that's right now a fade? If the Predators have sort of straightened things out, who's the team that you're looking to fade?
Looking to fade right now, I would have to say the Kings are one of those teams, which I'm about to talk to you about. We're going to get to the Kings in a moment. I think the Kings are a pretty big fade at this moment. The Penguins haven't played very well there in Toronto today. They've kind of had some tough times lately. Toronto ain't been that great either. And Chicago's been a pretty good fade recently, especially since they lost Bedard. They've been pretty bad. So a couple of teams.
Sounds like no one's putrid. I mean, we're talking
I don't
bottom
think
of the
so.
barrels, 500. That's not very NBA like.
Well, think about this. Like, Vancouver's still in last. I mean, they're on a 4-game winning streak right now. Vancouver, and they're in last place. And I was looking at it this morning. Some of these teams are so bad. You think they got under 500 records, but they're 4 or 5 points out of the last playoff spot. There really isn't much separation from. And I know the NHL, everybody makes the joke. Everyone gets in the playoffs. There's 16 teams that get in. But these bottom teams, they're all right in the mix. Nobody has really separated themselves to where they're completely out of it yet. I mean, even Vancouver's, they got 33 points, but they're 5-6 points back in the playoffs. It's pretty
That's hockey. I mean, that's the puck luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the puck luck for you.
Another maybe revenge spot for you. I know you love these. And there it is. Scott just brought it up. I was about to say it, Scott, beating me to the punch here. We were on the Panthers on Friday night at home against the Hurricanes, if you remember. And the Panthers came back from down 3-0 to win that game in a shootout.
Best bet, wasn't it?
It was the best bet Friday night, was the Panthers at home against the Hurricanes. Hurricanes have now lost a couple games in a row, which is not very uncommon for them in the regular season. They're usually a machine. And less than a week later, they get the Panthers back, this time in their house. It's a big price. It's 143, but I think a good bounce back for Carolina tonight, Doug, in a revenge game, playing them so soon.
Yeah, I mean, do we have revenge angles and stats and all that? I mean, sometimes teams are just better.
Stats.
But I think the 3-0 comeback really, really sweetens the pie.
Especially being not even, I mean, if it was a month later, I'm not sure it would matter, but in the less than a week later, and they beat you 4 out of 5 in the playoffs last year. You blew a 3-0 lead to them on Friday night. There's ever a night you're going to show up against somebody, you would think it's the Hurricanes. And they don't play many meaningful regular season games. They swallow everyone up. They make the playoffs every year. I got a feeling tonight they'd have a little gas against Florida at home.
It makes perfect logical sense. So yeah. What could go wrong?
Well, that's precisely right. What could go wrong when everything makes perfectly logical sense? You got the Battle of Alberta too. Edmonton and Calgary, which typically as in the past has been pretty wild games. It's up to a 6.5 now, minus 108 to the over. That's more fun. But I actually looked, 4 of the last 5 have been under between the two of them, between Calgary and Edmonton. And what's usually a pretty crazy game. Now, Flames have gone over 4 of their last 5. Wolf stinks. We know that any night the Oilers could score a whole bunch of goals with their lineup. So I kind of had my eye a little bit on the over, but the recent history between the two, Doug, kind of has me a little back and forth on it with the Flames and the Oilers.
It makes sense. I think if you have, reservations or whatever, just walk away.
Yeah, and I think that's where I might end up being with that over with Calgary and Edmonton later tonight. And now let's talk about Seattle. They are in LA against the Kings. We've been waiting for this. The last 2 seasons, the Seattle Kraken have not won a game second night of a back-to-back. They were 0-12 last year. They're 0-3 to start this season. This is their 4th set of back-to-back games. They won last night down the freeway in Anaheim at the Duck Pond, and now they're at the Crypto against the Kings. The Kings are minus 245 tonight. But here's the problem, Doug. The Kings have been bad lately. They lost at home to Columbus last night. They had that bad trip that they kind of salvaged one game in Florida, but they lost all the other ones. I don't know. Could we lay 245?
I know we have 15. Look, history of the franchise, right? They've never done it, right? 0-15.
Right.
I still can't pull the trigger at minus 250. I mean, I'd rather lay puck line. Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But maybe a team total for the Kraken. Sorry, yeah, Kraken. Because they were so inept in their game the last time. So I would look to that. But, you just can't be laying this kind of lumber with a team like the Kings and expect to win long term.
See, Kings in regulation is minus 148. But remember, Seattle kept this going and they lost in the shootout on the island. Remember that Sunday against the Islanders?
Right, but they weren't good. That's the thing. It was more the Islanders stunk. So, yeah, I think I could get involved in Kings regulation.
Kings regulation minus 148. That's a hell of a lot better than 245. I definitely don't want 245.
That's no picnic. I mean, Islanders were $1.45 in that game, just overall, not regulation.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish they were playing anybody else tonight. The Kings they just haven't been playing well. And it's not even like they're just happen to be losing games. Like, they look lifeless in these games.
They got a win recently when we thought we were fading them, right? They got a nice win the other night against the Lightning in Tampa out of nowhere.
That was the game. The Lightning game was the one where they ended up winning, and they lost all the other games on that trip. Yeah, I don't know. I much
got to be careful around the holidays too. All sports, you just don't know what's going on. Home life, they got to be worried about the kids' gift. I mean, it's a weird week in all sports. You just got to be careful in general.
Yeah, it's tough. I think for me tonight, how about both teams to score one goal and Kings to win at even money? Wow, Scott getting in the lab here look at this, Doug.
Okay.
Scott's getting in the lab.
You have my attention, even though the Kraken didn't score in the last game that they played in this spot.
That's true, but I don't mind. Look, I'll find any weird and creative ways that we could somehow do this. I gotta. There's so many markets. Bet Rivers does a great job. They have a ton of markets here. I've got to sift through and find this one to get it. But that's not a bad one either. Scott brings up in the chat box. We want to fade them. I think the over in Buffalo and the Stars tonight for me, Doug, are my two favorites. With the hockey tonight, it's a lot of games, and remember too, they're all going home. It's not like the NBA where some teams are playing on Christmas. Everyone's getting 3 days off. And that, I think there's a mindset there too, right, Doug? Like, there's like no practices or anything. The NHL completely shuts things down for 3 days. So you might have a few people looking towards like it's Cancun time for probably a bunch of the single guys. Like, they're going out. They're going to have some fun.
Maybe,
for 3 days.
You would think. Or maybe their own families back home, right?
Yes. So they have all of those things going on for the pucks this evening for us. So the hockey. All right, NFL. Of course, we moved to week 17 after the 49ers win in Indy last night against the Colts. We always do the extra point on a Tuesday here on Betting Weekly Live. Some big themes coming out of the weekend. Give me one for you, Doug, in terms of what you're seeing now as we only have 2 weeks left in the regular season.
Well, there's always been a clash with eye test bettors and math bettors, right? The math guys insist that whatever sort of narrative is involved in a game, it's baked into the number. But sometimes the eye test person says it's not enough, meaning, like, in theory, my model in my head values something more than the market does. But I feel like these teams that have so much to play for have stepped on the gas and really sort of performed well. And we saw this last night with the San Francisco 49ers. And frankly, that's been sort of the concept in the college football playoff. And that's why these group of 5 teams have no chance. And last year, all 4 home teams won in the first round of the CFP. It's when you get all hands on deck and teams are fresh, there's no flat spot, there's no look ahead, there's no letdown. And it's like, oh yeah, this team's significantly better than the other team. I mean, the Niners had like 2 third downs in the entire first half. They didn't punt. Their punter has not punted since November. Okay. So when these teams have it, just step on the gas. So when these teams that are not that great, like we're learning the Lions and other teams, then you want to be a little careful laying the lumber, Ravens, other teams like that. But when these teams at the top, don't be afraid to lay the wood. That's what sort of my takeaway is, because these teams, there is separation from the really good ones and the mediocre and bad ones.
There certainly is, as we get down to the end now here in the NFL. And that includes, Doug, 3 games on Thursday, Christmas Day for us. Now, look, we had a real good Thanksgiving. All 3 games on Thanksgiving had a lot of juice to them. They had a lot of gas. The NFL, everybody praised the NFL at Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Well, Doug, sometimes it comes around. And for them, it does on Christmas Day, because they do not have the same gas in terms of what these games mean, that's for sure. We'll start with the Cowboys in Washington against the Commanders. This is a Netflix game. Netflix has the first 2 games here on Christmas Day. Cowboys are now -7. The total's pretty big, 50.5. As far as Mariota goes, he was not available at the portion that the media got to watch today. And I guess that's kind of leaning towards you might get the immortal Josh Johnson starting a game on Thursday. That is not fun if you even had a thought of betting on Washington.
That's a big number for a team that's been eliminated to be laying on the road, but that's how bad things are with Josh Johnson. I think the Commanders sort of emptied the tank in a big TV game on Saturday. I think this could be a rout. Cowboys looked all right against the Chargers. Chargers were just better. Of course, the first half went over for the 13th or 14th time or whatever it is this season involving a Dallas Cowboys game. For me, it's Cowboys or pass. If you're alive in survivor pools still, Cowboys are tempting. I think they're much more professional right now, and Schottenheimer, everything. Now, I don't know if the league's going to lean on the Commanders to say, hey, we got to get Mariota in there, but he's not practicing, and we have kickoff less than 48 hours away.
You might have some of these quarterbacks on Thursday. This could get real tough.
I mean, what a lineup, all things considered. It was like the perfect storm for, like Adam Silver must be just loving it.
What now I'm going to get to the next game. Look, if Mariota was playing, I think you could get me to Washington just because, like you said, the Cowboys they're finished. That's a lot to lay for a team that's got absolutely nothing going on.
I don't think the line would be 7, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, it wouldn't be there. But still, even if it was a little lower, like I could probably take Washington with the points, whatever they were, if Mariota was in there. I can't with this guy Johnson. It's not there for me. The only team, look, the Broncos, I guess, are playing for something. It's just the team they're playing isn't. The Lions are technically still alive as they go to Minnesota. Now, they need to win both of their games, and they need Green Bay to lose both of their games to actually stay in it. Lions are -7.5. 43.5 is the total. And I guess this moved a little bit more because it sounds like no J.J. McCarthy. That's actually how he has been ruled out for Thursday's game. Does that mean we get the Brosmer experience again, Doug?
No, they signed Brett Rippon, who might be worse. I'm not sure. I know. Give me the Lions. Hammer time. In a dome.
Look,
these quarterbacks, Brosmer or Rippon. Rippon is who was available that forced the Colts to go get Phillip Rivers. So that gives you all you need to know.
Oh, Brett Rippon, and they're gonna start him on like 2 days. Like, I mean, oh my goodness, that's brutal.
Maybe it's Brosmer. I mean, he's not facing the Seattle defense in Seattle like Brosmer was. So maybe like he did the last time. So maybe it's not as brutal.
The Lions have burned me I was so upset by what they did with Pittsburgh on Sunday, Doug. I'm still mad at the Lions.
They're just not that good. And you got the meathead calling plays who's a moron. So what do you expect?
The meathead. What a bad move by him. When you said it when he did it, it was way too much on the plate when he went and started calling plays.
He has no idea what he's doing.
And he needs to really, he's going to learn some lessons this year. He's got to find another Ben Johnson so that he doesn't have to worry about the offense. And those guys aren't easy to find. The nightcap, if you could stomach it, the Broncos in Kansas City against the Chiefs. This is now -13. 36.5 is the total. Of course, Aladukin's going to play. for the Chiefs. This is some quarterback triple header, Tuck, you've got coming up on Thursday.
By miles, Jared Goff's the best quarterback playing.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to take a victory lap. I told you all to take the Titans. I said lay the alt lines. Chiefs have no incentive to show up for this game. They're going to be checked out. They don't know which end is up. Their star of the franchise just got blown his knee out. They're going to stink, and they did stink, and they didn't come to play at all. Now, this is a different situation. They're at home, a division rival. They're getting 13. I think the Broncos do bounce back, so I'm laying it, but this is not going to be a walk in the park like the Titans were.
It is not going to be a walk in the park. Look, because I don't know, Denver, they mess around too. Like they do. Denver likes to mess around.
For the first time in months, they're off a loss. I mean, that's the difference here, right?
Right. Yep. That is the difference. That's for sure. So that's your triple header on Christmas Day in the NFL. This is why, right here, why we bet on the games for games like these. This is it. No need to re-up with Netflix this Christmas from Petey. You're going to watch, Petey. You know you are. Everyone's going to watch. As much as we want to sit here and say, oh, these games are awful. You know it's on in the background. You might have the Yule log on one TV with the music, but you'll have Washington and Dallas on the other one. I know you will. They're lying if they say they won't, Doug. They're lying.
It depends how much you love your family or you want to get away from them.
That's a very good point for all of that. Quickly, go for two early looks for later this week. Obviously, we'll be back on Friday, and we'll go through the entire weekend slate in the NFL. But give me two fast ones you're looking at, Doug.
So a couple games really caught my eye. Green Bay, obviously off a demoralizing loss. That spread looks really strange given what's going on with the quarterbacks and everything. So that's a game that stood out to me. I don't know what to think of it. Obviously, they have a lot to play, but are we going to get Lamar Jackson? Are we going to get some form of an effort from them? Yeah. I know they're mathematically still alive, but give me the Packers all day, even with all those injuries. And I had the Bears, luckily, last Saturday. But Packers are hurt. They're missing Kraft. They're missing other guys, but I got to take Green Bay here. I don't think much of this Ravens team at all.
Yeah, I was thinking of it. Like, no matter what the matchup is, I feel like I'd still be on the Packers. Like, if it's Love Lamar, I'm on the Packers. If it's Malik Willis Lamar, I might still be on the Packers. I just feel like the Ravens season ended Sunday night, right, Doug? No matter what, the Ravens season.
One would think, and Harbaugh's voice has got to have been checked out, right? Remember, yep. Andy Reid needed to go in Philly, like it just was time for a change.
This is it.
And then it's not that he became a bad coach. I think Harbaugh needs to go in Baltimore. I think that's just they've tuned him out.
I agree with you. And the other one for you, of course, the Bucs need to win. I guess they need to win it or hope Carolina loses. Either way, to make sure that they're playing for something in Week 18.
I must be a glutton for punishment because I've tried to back the Bucs a few times the last 2. I mean, they've lost 6 of 7. Okay, It's outrageous. I'm old enough to remember when Baker Mayfield had a lot of buzz for MVP. They were 6-2. Now they're 7-8. But Quinn Ewers and this Miami team, they have a knucklehead of a coach themselves. Ewers stinks. I think the Bucs sort of take out some aggression on this bad Miami team.
Man, if there's ever a team you could do it, I mean, Miami's shown you the last 2 weeks that they're laying it down. The Pittsburgh and the Bengal games, I mean, they got no interest, it seems like, down the stretch here. 2 totals for me that caught the eye. I feel like 2 of the best defenses the last 6 weeks are Houston and the Chargers, right? Both those defenses have been playing lights out. I mean, it's a big game Saturday early. I know 39.5. Anytime you get under 40, you're like, oh, man, this is the NFL. I think we can get under this. I feel like both the defenses are going to continue to rule the day here. I like the under in the Texans.
The Chargers D was lit up by Dallas quite a bit in the first half. The problem is the Texans couldn't even do anything against the Raiders. So this Houston team stinks. I'm sick of hearing that they're a contender just because of their pass rush. Great. A lot of teams have good pass rushes.
I want no
part of the Texans come playoff team.
I don't trust their offense whatsoever, the Texans. And that probably works in a little bit as well here for potentially an under 39.5 with the Texans and the Chargers coming up on Saturday. And Pittsburgh, Cleveland, sometimes it gets so low, Doug, that Like you said, I'm a glutton for punishment. Like, I feel like if the Ravens lose Saturday night, I don't think this matters for Pittsburgh, and they might play the game a little differently. But if they're going to clinch the North the way that they've played the last couple of weeks, and I know Metcalf won't be there, I think they could score enough. And I feel like the Browns D, as good as it was for parts this year, they've let go of the rope a little bit the last few weeks. I know they want to get Garrett his record, and they probably will against Rodgers, but I feel like the Steelers are going to be able to score. And Shador's moved the ball a little bit, right? I mean, he hasn't been completely putrid. 34 is low, Doug. That's too low.
I don't know. I don't see a bet on that I like more than Stafford MVP. The only problem is you got to wait till the end of January to cash. So this game's interesting. You know, you're obviously on top of things, knowing the playoff scenario with the Steelers. I mean, what if they just sit a bunch of guys and you get Rudolph a couple days after Christmas, right?
I'm not there if the Ravens lose Saturday night. I want no part of it. If
the over could be better. I mean, just letting it rip and going for it at midfield.
Let it tee it high, let it fly. If the game needs other, just let it go, baby. Let him go. See, I wouldn't want to sit Rodgers for 2 full weeks. Would you? Would you want to not play Rodgers for 2 full weeks? I guess he's got some experience.
I don't know.
Maybe it wouldn't matter, but he's kind of gotten in a rhythm the last few weeks. He's playing really well. I don't know if I'd want to sit him for 2 full weeks.
I like his single setback and the tush push that they run where he just sits there with hands on the hip.
Very relaxed.
You know what's funny is they ran left and he faked right when they snapped. They ran right. Like the outside linebacker went and like these idiots think he's going to get a pitch.
NFL for this weekend. Friday here on Betting Weekly Live. We will go through the entire card and get you ready. Some big game. I'm ready for that Bear-Niner game on Sunday night. That's going to be a good one. We'll talk about it on Friday. Once again, I have to remind you, you need your pizza money at Bet Rivers. If you have your eyes on a plus money bet at Bet Rivers, Betting Weekly is giving you a little pizza money to lock it in. Use our pizza money bonus code, Betting Weekly 1218, to get a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money bet at Bet Rivers. That is Betting Weekly 1218. You have until January 11th to redeem the code at any U.S. Bet Rivers sportsbook. Good for one bet for eligible players only. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Once again, the code Betting Weekly 1218. I'm not done, Doug. I've got bowl games tonight and tomorrow night that we have to get to. New Orleans.
You are you're Al Pacino in Son of a Woman. I'm just getting warmed up.
Just getting going. We got the New Orleans. We got some bowl games tonight. Western Kentucky and Southern Miss down at the Dome in Nolens. Southern Miss -3, total 59.
All these bowl games going under, especially except for the one I bet yesterday that snuck over the total late with backup QBs in. But I mean, this one currently going on 21-11. 59 is a big number. I can't get involved in this game. I got my eye on other games. So this is one of those where, you can't bet every game. I really like other games, so I'm laying off this one.
I like this late night one much better, which of course is UNLV. We always love UNLV because they could score and they have no defense. And that's usually a lot of fun to watch. Just after 9 o'clock East at the Frisco Bowl down at the Ford Center, -6.5 for the Rebs. And yes, this is what we need in bowl season. 64.5 for the Bobcats and the Rebels.
I like UNLV here. They've really exceeded expectations, and I keep waiting for Dan Mullen to sort of announce that he's going elsewhere, but that's just not been the case. So he's sticking around. I think this team with their quarterback play, Calander's been awesome. So I like UNLV -6.5 and over 36.5 because they'll give up points quickly. Yeah. And if they somehow get into one of those weird games where they don't go over their team total, I think they still cover the number. But obviously the handicap here is what's going on with Ohio. Their coach fired. There's lawsuits and, we're playing amateur psychologists with what's gone on with this coach and extracurricular activities with them in Michigan. So I don't think it has a huge, but look, if the guy's a good coach and he clearly was, and he's getting results, then his not being there matters. It has to matter. Can't just, Ole Miss losing Lane Kiffin has to matter at some point, right?
It certainly does. I like UNLV tonight as well. I like the team total angle that we've got there, 36.5. I would love to get flying over that one tonight. And you know that I love the total tomorrow night. We've talked a lot about the Hawaii Bowl. There's nothing like it on the Big Island. Cal and Hawaii. Hawaii now -2. I like Hawaii to win the game, but 51.5. I'm hoping we can sail through that too, Doug.
I think this is a banger. Now, sharp money has moved this game on lower, this total, and I think it's because of the wind. I'm not going to take the bait. I think this flies over the total. Look, you have Cal coming in with their Hawaiian-born quarterback, the native. They're not coming in to run the power I. They're coming in with their Hawaii native quarterback to sling it, JKS. And you got Hawaii, who can go up and down. Now, they do frustrate me at times that drives stall way too often with Alejado and something, but that's part of being a freshman and all that. But he's had another month of practice. I think you're going to have teams going for it at fourth down around midfield. And you got the Tokyo Toe, who's Mr. Automatic, kicking field goals. So if you need some points late, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of empty drives. So I think this is a too low of a total. I respect the wind. I respect the sharp money. But I think both coaches want to let it sling.
Nobody wants to watch a 17-13 Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. It's really the only thing on Christmas Eve, and we needed to have POINTS, points. Keep everybody interested. There you go. Actually, one other game I'll give you, because when we come on Friday, there's a bunch of bowl games, but one will have already started. The Game Above Sports Bowl is at 1 o'clock East on Friday. This is Northwestern and the Chippewas of Central Michigan. This is at Ford Field in Detroit. And a big number for Northwestern and a low total in this game.
Yeah, you rarely get the double-digit spread with a total that low. So, look, Northwestern's offense has been pretty competent all year. This is not the Northwestern offense of a couple years ago. They've covered their one double-digit spread this year when they were a favorite of that much against Louisiana. I think they're competent. I think they'll be ready to play, but so will Central Michigan. Maybe it's too much for the MAC to handle, but I think the middle of the Big Ten and beyond and below was pretty weak this year. Okay, it was top-heavy conference. Obviously, you have the nation's two top teams with Indiana and Ohio State, and then obviously, Oregon's really, really good. And then that next tier of like USC and Iowa, fine. But after that, so Northwestern racking up some wins against the Minnesotas of the world or whatnot, competing against Michigan, 21-16 loss. I'm not going to put a lot of stock on it. I got to take the points here if I had to play it, but I'm not.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of interest in the Sports Bowl on Friday afternoon. Now, there's a lot of games, Doug, when we come back Friday. I got my eye on Saturday. There's a lot of bowl games on Saturday.
That's a tease.
Little Fenway Bowl. We got a lot going on coming up this week. All right, so there you go. College football, Bowl Central here on Betting Weekly Live. Before we get to the best bets and get out of here, there is a couple of college basketball games tonight, and I actually didn't realize this, Doug. College basketball also turning the light off for a few days. No games Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday in college hoops. So that means all I've got for you for the next few days is tonight. Villanova and Seton Hall are playing at the Rock with a Big East game. Harvard and St. John's tonight. That game is at Carnesecca. I mean, Idaho and Bakersfield tipping off in a few minutes. Not much for college basketball, Doug.
Big number, too. I got no opinion here. Villanova sort of has a knack for playing down or up to its opponent. It's hard to blow them out. They're always around the spread. I think this obviously game's going to mean a lot for Seton Hall and their coach and everything, all that backstory with Willard and whatnot. I would lean to the Hall, but I think Nova's pretty darn good, so I'm going to pass.
And Holloway's got him 11-1 out of the gates. The Hall.
No, it's going to mean more for them for sure.
He's a good coach, man. I knew it could take him a couple years, but he's a
but
really
I'll
good coach,
I'll say this: they went to Providence, and it was a total look ahead spot and everything. And Seton Hall got the win at the dunk, so I was really impressed with that win last weekend.
Yeah, nice job by them. All right, so there you go. Not much college basketball tonight and no college basketball the next few days for us here. Reminder, of course, no show tomorrow, Christmas Eve, no show Thursday, Christmas Day. We will be back Friday for Betting Weekly Live, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. And, I mean, Friday is going to be like today, Doug. I mean, we're going to be tuned up because there's going to be tons of NBA, all the NFL for the weekend. I mentioned there's several bowl games on Saturday. So we're going to have ourselves a very busy show off of the Christmas holiday. Time for the best bets and the daily double for us this evening. I'm going to the pucks, Doug. I'm doing it, and I am going to go. And like I said, I had the game in my eye this morning. And then you told me that you also heard a little something about the game, and that's enough for me. I'm going up, and away in Ottawa tonight with the Sabres and the Senators. Over 6, Buffalo and Ottawa for my best bet this evening.
Love it. My buddy wanted me to do it, and I didn't, but you took the baton, so I like it and went with it. I'm going to the NBA. I'm not going to overthink this. There's a lot of angles I like, first quarters that I touched on earlier in the show. All were in the running, but I'm going to go with Austin Reeves. The guy is an absolute beast when Luka's out of the lineup. And over 24.5 points doesn't feel like a lot. A Suns team that's going to score at will. I was looking at Gillespie, too. I think he's going to go off as well. But Reeves to get 25 or more, I mean, this guy's been in the high 30s most of the time. So I think we got a nice landing area here for Reeves over because he can get to the line as well. So he's going to eat tonight and run. Their offense is going to run through him.
Well, there you go. Buffalo, Ottawa, over 6. Austin Reeves, over 24.5, plus 246 to send us into the Christmas holiday break here on Betting Weekly Live with a daily double win, just like we did last Friday. I want to go into a couple of days with us not doing the show, Doug. I want a daily double win tonight. Let's go here.
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's get it. All right. Once again, Doug, Merry Christmas, Scott. Yes, to everybody out there. Thank you, everybody who tunes in every day. Let's go, Steve. Nice hat. Happy holidays. Doug, tremendous job as always. Enjoy the next few days off, buddy.
Back at you. Merry Christmas to everyone at home. We always appreciate your involvement and your engagement in the comment section. And obviously, Carver, I love doing the show with you daily. So enjoy a couple days off with your fam, and we'll see you back here on Friday.
Same to you, Doug, of course, and we'll see. Hopefully the kids haven't completely run me down by Friday after all the stuff they're going to get on Thursday. Betting Weekly Live, Betting Weekly Studios, of course, Bet Rivers Network. Merry Christmas to all. We'll see you in a couple days on Friday back here on Betting Weekly Live.